Ladies, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Every woman deserves to be valued, respected, and loved the right way. But sometimes, without even realizing it, women do things that lower their value in front of a man. I'm not talking about your worth as a woman that can't be measured because you're priceless. What I'm talking about is how a man perceives you, and perception matters because it determines how he treats you. A man values what he respects, and if you want to be treated like a queen, you have to carry yourself like one. But the moment you allow certain habits, attitudes, or actions into your life, you send him signals that say, I don't know my worth. That's when your value drops in his eyes. And instead of treating you like the blessing you are, he starts treating you like an option. So let me break this down for you. Here are 5 things that will kill your value in front of a man. 1, accepting disrespect. The very first way you lose value is by tolerating disrespect. When a man talks down to you, ignores your needs, cheats, or dismisses your feelings, and you let it slide, you're teaching him that bad behavior is acceptable. And trust me, men do what you allow. The second you let him get away with something, you've lowered the bar for how he sees you. Respect sets the foundation for love, and if he doesn't respect you, he can never truly value you. A man only values what he respects, and that starts with how you allow him to treat you. Disrespect doesn't always show up loud and clear in the beginning. Sometimes it sneaks in through little things, a joke at your expense, ignoring your opinion, dismissing your feelings when you try to express them. And here's the truth, the moment you let it slide, you've just sent him a message that says, it's okay to treat me this way. Men are simple when it comes down to it. They will always test the boundaries, not necessarily because they're bad men, but because they want to see how far they can go. If you don't set those boundaries early, you'll find yourself in a situation where his respect for you gets smaller and smaller until eventually he doesn't see you as someone to honor. He sees you as someone he can get away with mistreating. The value you hold in a man's eyes is directly connected to the standard you set for yourself. If you demand respect, not with shouting or nagging, but with the quiet strength of a woman who knows who she is, he will rise to meet that standard. But if you accept half love, half effort, or half truths, then don't be surprised when that's all you get. A man's love matures when it's challenged by a woman's standards. He steps up when he knows he's dealing with a woman who refuses to be disrespected. Think about it like this. If you walk into a luxury store, they don't let you just toss the merchandise around or haggle down the price. Why? Because they know their worth. They treat their product with care. They protect it. And they make sure everyone else knows the value. But if you walked into a place where everything was cheap, falling apart, and nobody cared how you handled it, you'd treat it the same way, without respect. The same principle applies in relationships. A man will treat you the way you show him you expect to be treated. Respect is not optional, it is the foundation. Once you give away your respect, you give away your value in his eyes too. Being too available. Now listen carefully. Men chase what they respect, and they respect what they work for. If you're always available, always picking up the phone, always dropping your plans just to be with him, you stop being a prize and start being convenience. A man doesn't value what comes too easy. Your time is precious. Your energy is precious. If you give it all away freely, you're teaching him that he doesn't have to put in effort to keep you. If you make yourself too available to a man, you start stripping away the very thing that makes him want to pursue you. Men are wired to chase, to go after something that feels valuable, something that requires effort. But when every time he calls, you answer, every time he texts, you drop what you're doing, and every time he wants to see you, you cancel your own plans, you stop being the prize and start being convenience. And convenience never holds the same weight as something earned. You've got to understand that your time is precious, and the way you treat your time teaches him how to treat you. Being available doesn't mean you ignore him or play games. It means you don't sacrifice your whole life just to accommodate him. A man respects a woman who has her own schedule, her own goals, her own priorities. When you're always waiting around, it tells him that your world revolves around him. And as much as you may think that shows love, what it really shows is neediness. And neediness doesn't build respect. It weakens it. Men admire women who make them earn a spot in their lives because it tells them that you know your value and that you don't just hand it out freely. Think about it. If you could walk into a jewelry store and grab a diamond off the shelf without paying a cent, without security, without any process, it would stop feeling like a diamond and start feeling like glass. The difficulty, the process, the effort, that's what makes it valuable. Relationships work the same way. When a man has to put an effort to win your time, your attention, and your heart, he values it more deeply because he knows he had to work for it. So don't be afraid to say no sometimes. Don't be afraid to tell him you're busy. Don't abandon your commitments, your dreams, or your peace just to show up for him every second. The right man will respect your time. He'll honor your schedule. And he'll step up his game to prove that he deserves a place in your world. The moment you stop being too available, you remind him that you are not just an option. You are a priority worth pursuing. 3, losing your independence. A woman who gives up her dreams, her goals, and her independence just to keep a man loses her shine in his eyes. Men may not say it out loud, but they admire a woman who has her own life, her own passions, and her own purpose. The moment you make him your whole world, he feels the weight of responsibility to be your everything. And instead of admiring you, he may start resenting you. Remember this, a strong woman doesn't need a man to complete her. She chooses a man to complement her. When a woman gives up her independence just to keep a man, she slowly starts to lose the very thing that made him attracted to her in the first place. Men are drawn to women who shine on their own, who have dreams, goals, and passions outside of the relationship. But when you give all that up, when you stop chasing your career, your education, your hobbies, or even your personal growth, because you're worried he might leave, if you focus on yourself, you start dimming your own light. A man may never say it out loud, but deep down, he admires a woman who doesn't need him to survive, but chooses to have him by her side. That choice creates respect. If you make him your whole world, the pressure of being everything for you will weigh on him. At first, he might enjoy the attention, but over time, he'll feel suffocated. Men don't want to feel like they're the reason you've abandoned your life. They want a partner, not someone who has no identity without them. When you stand strong in your independence, you actually give him room to admire you more because you remind him you are with him by choice, not desperation. Think about it. If you stop watering your own garden just to stand in his, sooner or later, yours will wither. And when it does, he won't look at you the same way because the glow, the fire, the ambition that caught his attention is gone. That's why keeping your independence is not selfish. It's necessary. When you have your own dreams, your own money, your own voice, and your own confidence, you carry yourself differently. And when you carry yourself with strength, he sees you as someone he has to respect, someone who can walk away at any time if he doesn't treat you right. The best relationships are built on two complete people coming together, not one person trying to live through the other. A man wants to feel like you're his partner, not his shadow. Independence shows him you're capable. It shows him you're confident, and it shows him that while you may want him, you don't need him. And that right there is what makes a man respect and value you even more. 4, playing games. Some women believe that playing hard to get, making a man jealous, or manipulating his emotions will keep him hooked. Let me tell you, real men don't stick around for games. Immature men might play along, but a man of substance, a man who's serious about you, he'll walk away. Games kill trust, and without trust, there can be no value in that relationship. When you start playing games with a man, you may think you're keeping him interested, but what you're really doing is planting seeds of doubt and mistrust. Some women believe if they act mysterious, delay responses, make him jealous, or create drama, it will keep him hooked. But here's the truth: real men don't play games, and the ones who do aren't the kind you want to keep. A man of character, a man who's serious about you, will not waste his time trying to figure out if your love is real or just a performance. Games might grab attention for a moment, but they destroy the foundation of something lasting. Love grows in honesty and consistency. When a man feels like he has to guess how you feel, question your intentions, or compete with imaginary rivals you created to spark his interest, he'll eventually check out. Because while you're trying to prove a point or hold on to control, what you're really showing is insecurity. Games come from fear. The fear of losing him, the fear of not being enough, the fear of giving your whole heart. But instead of protecting you, those games push him away, especially if he's the kind of man who values peace, stability, and loyalty. Imagine buying a house. If the foundation is shaky, no matter how beautiful the paint or the decorations, you wouldn't feel secure living in it. You'd always wonder if it's going to collapse. That's exactly how a man feels when the relationship is built on manipulation instead of truth. He may enjoy the thrill for a while, but he won't build a future there. A woman who's straightforward, who communicates her feelings without hidden agendas, earns a man's trust, and with that, his respect. When you drop the games and show up as your authentic self, you give him the chance to fall in love with the real you, not a mask you created to keep him around. And the right man will appreciate that honesty because it allows him to be vulnerable too. The moment you stop competing, stop pretending, and stop testing him, you open the door for a deeper connection. And that connection will outlast every trick, every test, every game you thought you needed to play 5. Ignoring your standards. The last and maybe the most dangerous one, when you ignore your standards just to keep a man. Maybe you wanted marriage, but you settle for being just the girlfriend. Maybe you wanted commitment, but you accept excuses. The moment you lower your standards, you're teaching him that you don't really believe in your own worth. And when a man senses that, he stops seeing you as someone to fight for and starts seeing you as someone he can string along. When you start ignoring your own standards just to keep a man, you begin lowering the very boundaries that were supposed to protect your worth. Standards are not about being difficult or demanding. They are about knowing what you deserve and refusing to accept less. But too often, when a woman fears losing someone, she begins to compromise on the things that matter most to her. She might want marriage, but settles for years of being someone's situation. She might value honesty, but looks the other way when he lies. She might dream of a committed partner, but accepts a man who only gives her part-time love. Every time you lower your standards, you send the message that your desires, your needs, and your dreams don't really matter. The danger in this is that a man pays attention to what you allow. If you accept less than you deserve, he will give you less. If you ignore the red flags, he will keep waving them. And the more you let slide, the more he learns he doesn't have to step up because you'll stay anyway. Over time, this doesn't just affect how he treats you. It affects how you see yourself. You start to lose confidence. You start to feel unworthy, and before you know it, you've convinced yourself that what you're getting is all you're worth. That's the trap of ignoring your standards. Think about it like this. If a company sets a price for a product but keeps giving discounts every time a customer complains, eventually no one will pay the full price. Why? Because the company showed that it doesn't even believe in the value of its own product. The same is true in relationships. If you don't hold firm to your standards, how can you expect someone else to respect them? A man who truly wants you will rise to meet your standards. He will make the effort, he will adjust, and he will commit because he knows your love requires more than half measures. And if he won't, then that's the clearest sign he was never meant to stay. Holding on to your standards doesn't push away the right man. It pushes away the wrong one. And that's exactly what will protect your value and keep your dignity intact.